Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about something very important that everyone is looking for, and is that true love, right? Either men or women, we're looking for that special one in our life. And I want to help you to find it and attract that person that will be the one in your life. And actually, these 7 steps will attract more than one person in your life. Like, I'm 100% sure this will happen. Like, sure, proven, not only by me, but how I used it with other people, clients that I've helped. And I want to bring this to you because it works just like that. I know you're going to be like, oh, I've heard this and I know this and I know that, but now I'm going to try to put it into steps that you need to follow to understand the process. I was with a client and I told her what to do in the first step that I'm going to tell you. And she was, after we have a talk, and she was like, but I understand this and this and this, but now I still don't know what the process is. Like, she was still confused with the process of how to engage into a relationship with someone and what steps to follow. So I put these 7 steps together for you to understand everything. And you see, it's simple. Before we start with the 7 steps, I am going to mention something that everyone knows and everybody tells you about, and they said about you can attract someone when you love yourself. And it's true, completely true. Actually, the 7 steps that I'm going to mention are coming from that phrase, love yourself. So the first step you have to do is look for what you need and not for what you want. So when I say this, it's because you want to really realize what type of people you want in your life. Do you know what type of person you want in your life? And I'm not saying exactly what you want, but what you need. You know, most of the people, when I ask this question, what is that you desire in a relationship? Let's not say want. What do you desire in a relationship? This person is like, well, I want a guy that can bring me this and can bring me that. Like, has money, a good job, that looks good, a woman that has, it's pretty, that, it's independent and blah, blah, blah. But does that means that that's what you really desire? Like, I don't hear ever a person say, well, you know what, I need someone to support me, someone to respect me, someone that makes me feel secure in a relationship. There's totally two different things. I can want a man who's so physically attractive and beautiful, have a great job that brings me money, but that's not exactly what you need. So you need to sit down and think about what you really need in your situation. I need a man who brings me happiness, makes me feel beautiful when I'm with him, or makes me feel beautiful when I'm when I'm with her. Because remember, this is for everyone. This is not only for women. These are 7 steps for men and women. So the first step is to sit down and really analyze what you really need in your life, not what you want. The second step is being accountable for your own actions. And when I say be accountable for your own actions, mean 2 things. What are those things? One, you don't want to play the role of a victim ever. Mean you don't want to be a martyr. Like, don't ever put these phrases in your head or say it to someone you've been with, like, or you are with. It's like, why would you do this to me? You the one, blaming the other person for everything is not good neither. Like, you have to be accountable for your own actions. Like, if you decided at the second date you wanted to kiss that person, or you wanted to get intimate with that person, it's something you decide to do. Maybe this person already told you, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. And then you decided to continue on. And that brings another thing that you shouldn't be doing, which is trying to be a savior. Because you can't change people. People needs to change on their own. They start realizing things after a while. So I know there's some people like, no, people change. No, people get better. But not because you force them to do so. It's because they want to do it in their own. Because they feel the necessity to change and to do it on their own. So there's two things, right? There are inside this second step. Don't play the role of a victim, neither to play the role of being a savior. Because you need to make sure that you're doing it because you want to do it. You've been doing it. So be accountable for your actions. Be responsible of them. If someone tells you, I don't want to be in a relationship, and you're looking for a relationship, then you know you need to walk away. You see? Sometimes people play the role of a savior and think like maybe he's going to change after a while. Maybe she is going to accept me. Maybe she friend zoned you. And then you realize like she only calls you when she needs you. But you're still there because you still have hopes. You see, because you have hopes that she would change over time if you're good to her, if you're good to him. You play this role of being a savior because maybe this person had a bad relationship before. So I'm going to show him, I'm going to show her that I'm not that person. No, remember what I said. People change in their own because they realize something. And there's a saying, they don't know what they have until they lose it. So if you're in a situation like that, make sure that you walk away. Okay, so that brings us to the third step. And the third step is using assertive communication. And when I said assertive communication means be open, be honest, be true to that person, and be true to yourself. So don't use a communication that is going to be aggressive, neither passive. You want to be honest with the person and says, you know, what is that you're looking for in a relationship? The person's going to be like, okay, I want to be in a relationship, but I want to start with a friendship. And you're going to be, okay. Now, remember the second step. You need to be accountable for your own actions, right? So you're going to decide if you want to be with this person or not. But remember what the openness brought to you, the truth. And right? So look at the steps are always related to one another. So make sure that you know where you're standing on, and make sure that other person knows where you're at. So you guys are at the same level or not. And remember, go back to the second step always. Do I want to play the role of a savior or want to play a role of a victim at the end? You know where it's heading. Once you open and you know what the person, listen, when a man says something, say, I'm not ready, it's because they're not ready. They just tell you right there. So take it as it is. All right. Same thing for men. If a woman says, I don't feel like I'm ready yet, like just stay away. Anyway, fourth step. The fourth step is check on your self-esteem and build it up. And when I talk about how to check your self-esteem is very important because some people, and a lot of us do this, we're not really in the right place sometimes. And we kind of feel like we need someone in our life just because we feel in a situation like we need someone to hug us and support us and be with us, and we don't realize that we actually need ourselves. You might have lost your job, or you might have another issue like it happened to me, and it happens to someone and all the clients that happened before, like they lose it all. So they vulnerable, and instead of relying on themselves, they want to rely on other people. They want to have that shoulder, but they need to actually enjoy being with themselves, and write down your talents. Make sure you know who you are, how great you are as a person, you know. And whoever you're going to meet, that person is not going to care if you have a job or not. They're going to see you, that confident person. They, you know, people in general, men and women, anyone likes to be with someone who's very confident. They show that security. If you start doubting yourself, it's gonna be shown. And when the other people see it, you can't even have someone that can take advantage of you just because of that. So you need to show that you are confident. Check that. And remember, that brings you back to number 2 steps and number 3 step. You want to make sure that you're not playing the role of a victim. Sometimes when you have a low self-esteem, you do play a role of a victim. You take actions because you feel, you know, like, I really need to be with this person. I want to be with this person. And it's because you still have things to work inside of you. Even when you're a savior, you can be playing a savior too, you know, the role of savior. But I've seen more as a victim, you know, and then you start blaming the other person. But you did this to me, and the other person's like, but I told you I wasn't ready, but you still went for it. Or that person mainly is not clear with you and kind of drag you. And that's when you have to check number 3 again with assertive communication. All right. And if that person is not being clear to you, is not being assertive either with you and being open, so then you know you need to just walk away, right? So now let's look at the other step. Number 5, live in the present and work towards the future. This is very important. This is a very important step because you don't want to look back at what happened in your past relationships and then you're gonna think that it's gonna continue happening in your future relationships. I have a client that she has these fears of, you know, like if she will have intimate with every single guy, like they're gonna do the same thing, you know, this guy did to her in the past. Like, okay, we get intimate and that person's gonna ghost me and go away. And then actually the guy was talking to her, but then she started having these fears that will happen. And it kind of like eventually start killing the relationship. You see? Like you can't live in the past. You need to live in the present. And when you start in the present and you are in this step, which is step number 5, right? You're checking your present. Make sure that your self-esteem is in place. Make sure you use a good assertive communication. Make sure you know what you need in your life, and make sure you know what role you're going to take, which is not the victim and not the savior, right? So now you know that you don't have to go back to the past because that brings fears. Some people are still dealing with the past relationship. They don't close that door, which happened to another client of mine, and she was so fearful to start a new relationship. And when she started a new relationship, it started complicating things because she was comparing. You can't compare. You see, you need to live in the present. And like I said, check the other steps that I already talked about and see that you're okay. It's you. Let's go to number 6. The number 6 step is something that everyone knows about, and it's like treat others in the same way you want to be treated, especially the way you treat yourself. And this is about having an affair with yourself, loving yourself for who you are, and being positive and treating others with positivism. Now, when you treat people with positivism, that doesn't mean that you can allow someone to treat you like a doorman. Okay, so remember, you always kind of check the other steps before, right? Because one thing is being good to others, but remember, there's always someone or 2 or 3 people that will try to take advantage of you because they know you being positive and very nice and sweet and whatever it is. So, you know, just make sure Like the other steps, you're using it properly. You're using the assertive communication. You know, you're not living in the past. This is a new thing. So this person might be, I don't want you to think like, oh, but this person is acting just like the one that I had before. It's not about what happened in the past before. It's what's happening now. But remember to check your self-esteem too when you start having these fears. That's why there's all the steps before. All right. Now, number 7. The step number 7 is the last one, kind of. And it's about trusting in the process. Trusting yourself. And let the process unfold naturally. When you go and check number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you know you're doing all those steps, and you know you're good with all of them, then you're like, okay, now I can trust myself that everything is going to work. Everything is fine. You know the other person in the side, it's following along with you because you see the signs. You're not being a a savior. You're not being a victim. You put your foot on the floor. I mean, and and you make sure that things are equal. All right, because when you use all these steps, you basically are making sure that person is respecting you and is loving you for who you are. All right, so the last step I would say is to commit to all the steps. Because let's say you found all the steps and you get to the 7th step and you trust in yourself and you see, I'm going to let this unfold. And then you start enjoying, that part of connection, the passion, the sex and the companionship. And then you go back 1 step and you're like, wait, or 2 steps and you're like, okay, I'm having fears. So you go back to the past. It's like, wait, this happened before in my a relationship in the past. Maybe this is gonna happen again. You're going back to that again. So you see, you're moving forward, but then you go back again. So what you do, recheck again, meditate, think about this. Okay, I'm not gonna use these actions based on my fears, but based on what is true. And sometimes it's hard to see the truth when we based things in our fears and what happened in the past. It's like, okay, I think person is going to ghost me, or this person is ghosting me. You don't know if this person is really working hard and is not really trying to ghost you. So you just need to base your actions and what you see is truth. Okay, do not ever assume things. And I think I forgot to mention that in the 3rd step, use assertive communication. Never assume. Never assume. If you think this person is playing with you, you go and say, listen, I think this is happening. Is that true or not? You see, this is a way you can solve things. Go back to the steps, fix them, and go move forward. Do not be aggressive. Do not be passive in your communication. Use assertive one. You see, all of them are interconnected. And trust me, when you use all of these 7 steps and commit to it, which is the hardest one, because you really need to stay focused to commit 100% that this is going to work. And trust me, it's going to work. And it's going to attract more than one person. If you're a girl out there and you make sure you following all these steps, this man will respect you, and you will probably, trust me, we all pass through this. You will attract men that would try to take advantage of you. They all just want to play with you. But that's when you have to look at the steps. This person want to play with me. What you're going to do? You're going to play the role of a savior or a victim. Well, I'm just going to walk away. If you're a woman out there, men love to chase. Men love to chase. So these are not steps either for you to play the chasing thing. It's just for you to show respect and dignity. And that is very attractive too. And if you're a man, you're obviously going to show also respect when you follow the steps. All right? Because you will attract women that will respect you the same way you will respect them. and you guys are going to get to know each other better. And following these steps, it's I think it's the best steps. Has worked for me, has worked for my clients, and it's great. Commit to it. So I hope I help you in any way to see things. I know that people says love yourself and you're gonna get love, be happy, so you attract happy people. Yes, but no one tells you the steps like this. Okay, so follow the steps, and commit to it. All right, that's it. So I hope you like it. I hope you understand it and you practice it. Okay, and you will see the different world of what's going to happen in the future, and you see how many guys, how many girls you're going to attract when you put these steps. Like, you're going to be like, wow, this really works. Trust me, it works. Leave me a comment, give me a like, please subscribe and share this video for all my girls and boys there that are really looking for true love. These are the steps for you. Anyway, much love and much light, and I'll see you here in my channel. Bye. Ciao.